Hey y'all, welcome to SoulsReaper Healing. Today I was going to do a food for thought. This popped into my head last night. I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Lord of the Rings, but the reference popped into my head because we're always tested to see if we're going to react in certain ways or how we're going to handle the pressures of certain things in life. And I think the reason why this popped into my head was it was trying to help me see it, the broader spectrum of how things go in life on this journey, being a human in this world. And that movie is a really good, there's many others, but when we watch the movies we don't see it. But right now I just kind of want you to open your mind, and if you've seen the movie, there's a hobbit in the movie, and he's just living his life, minding his own business, you know, doing the same thing all the time. And I think it was his uncle or grandfather, carried a heavy burden for a long time, the ring. And it was really taking a toll on him because he carried it for such a long time. And Gandalf, a little ways into the movie, shows up, and Gandalf knows it's a burden. He knows it is a very heavy burden, but he also knows that Bilbo, the Hobbit, he knows that he has a strong spirit, strong soul. He knows that he can carry the burden, even though he knows he doesn't want him to carry the burden. But he knows he has a pure enough heart that he can make it through the hardest obstacles. And as they venture on this journey, they go through all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a good movie. It's light versus dark. But it's to me, it's a representation of what we go through in everyday life, even though it's not the way that it is in the movie. But if you can look at it like the trials and stuff that we go through throughout our lives. And, you know, on this journey, just like he is, a lot of us carry heavy burdens. And we get tested to face these things within us. And each time he's, you know, tested to protect and complete his mission, he always makes it through. But he has other people there that are, some are trying to help him, but some are not. You know, some are there for their own reasons. But the one that popped out to me last night, it didn't really register with me until this morning, about the actual whole movie was a good representation of us, you know, living this life. But the part that popped into my head is when he goes to the elves and he has the ring and he sets it, or he's by the pool or something like that, and he sets the ring down or something. And no, I can't remember if she sees it or what, but it's the part where Galadriel, the witch queen of Lorien, she's the one that can talk to people's minds and without saying a word, or she can move the the water, and that she works with all the elements. But the part that stood out to me was when she, and this is what popped into my head last night, when she's faced with the temptation of the ring. Because in that movie, the ring represents power. It represents many, it can be anything really, but in the movie it's supposed to represent power, and that's why a lot of people want to take the ring away and use it for their own reasons. But only the pure of heart can carry that burden to then release it, to get rid of it, But the part where she's standing there and she has to face herself, basically, is she going to give in to the rage and the overwhelming feeling of that she will have all the power? Because in that part, it's very intense when she goes from this very kind, gentle person, and she explodes outward, and her face and everything, she's like very light, and then all of a sudden she turns very dark when she's trying to face the struggle within herself of knowing, that she can do the right thing, but she had to face it. So that part right there stood out to me, where she feels, she allows herself to feel and face it. So she feels that energy, she faces, what that is within herself. Does she give into it? And just for that minute, she did. She gave into the feeling and the sense of the power. But then she calmed back down. She turned back into light, basically grounding herself. She knew that that was something that she didn't want to have control over her. She wasn't going to give in to it, because she knew that she was very strong within herself. She knew that she was very loving within herself, and that she was trying to do the things that were right for her. But in this life, we know that we will be tested many times throughout our lifetimes. We'll be tested. And as we go on this journey, we start, plucking out these, parts of us that are not our beliefs, that are not our own, that are not really us. We start plucking these things out as we go, like little weeds, Some of them are big, some of them are very deep-rooted. But as we go along, we start taking these little pieces out that don't resonate with us anymore. These pieces of us that were not us, that it's just what we created as a child to protect ourselves. So we thought, because that's what our child told us, what our, that's what we told ourselves when we were little, to stay safe. But as we go along, we start weeding these things out. And then when you get tested, and I don't know how you guys are, but and I said this in a previous video because I'd been tested again, but there's a lot of that going on right now. We're all being tested. How are you handling it now? When situations arise in your universe, in your little section of life, how are you handling that situation? Are you being tempted like, the Queen of Lorien? Are you being tempted to go back to that old pattern? Are you being tempted to go back to a version of you that no longer resonates. And this was something that, you know, I myself have been dealing with. So whatever collective, you know, the collective that resonates with me more than likely would be dealing with the same issue right now. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, if it's something you're interested in, it might give you a different perspective if you can see it differently. But to me, it's a good representation, even though it involves all kinds of, you know, creatures and things like that. But it's a very good representation of us going through life. From, you know, when we start on the journey, you know, like with him, he was going on a journey. And the ring was a very heavy burden. And we tend to carry those burdens with us for a very long time until we get to a place of healing within ourselves, and we start loving ourselves, and we start realizing that we're not loving ourselves in the way we should be. We're not being truly authentic when we're holding these things in. And we know that we can be honest with ourselves. But, you know, the journey is long, guys. I think we are at a place now, I know I personally, you know, a place of peace within self. But regardless, we'll still be tested, you know. Will we respond the same way? You know. Because honestly, with my own life, situations that have popped up, tests that have popped up, even if I start feeling like I'm revisiting an old version of myself, then I have to look within me and say, you know what? And I can feel it now. It doesn't even resonate with my soul anymore. It doesn't help me anymore. It's not a version of me that I wish to revisit anymore. It's just not me. So in another video I did, you know, be mindful of what you tell yourself. You know, thoughts become things. What are you thinking? You know, what are you feeding yourself? But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys because this is something that I've been facing as far as being tested. You know, are you going to fall back? Are you going to go back to the old version? Are you going to pass that test? Are you going to fight the battle and keep moving? So yeah, guys, if you get a chance, check out that movie, Lord of the Rings. She's in a couple of the movies, but the movie itself is a very wonderful, if you like those type of movies, a very wonderful representation of the things that we do go through. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys soon.